Alright, this is probably the most widely used application service in arguably the most important section of videos that I have for you. Because of how important understanding the AMCAS application is, I will go through each part of it step by step so that you know what to expect and how to complete it. AMCAS is run by the AAMC, which is the same association that runs the MCAT exam. AMCAS, or the American Medical College Application Service, is the centralized medical school application that most students will use when applying to medical school. You will only complete one application per cycle, and you will send that to every school that you can apply to through AMCAS. Texas schools are a little special, so if you are a Texas resident, there will be another video for you, but if you want to apply outside of Texas, you will have to use AMCAS anyways, so pay attention. If you haven't done so already, you can use your AAMC login to get into the AMCAS application using the link here. Once you log on, you will see a page with this section on it. When you click on it, you will be taken to the application itself. Just as a side note, whenever you complete anything on the application, make sure to save your progress because there is a lot and it's very convenient to have information already entered each time you go back to do more with it. Moving on to what sections you can expect to see on the application, we have these here. I plan to go through the entire application in this video, but I do want to point out that a lot of these sections have dedicated videos you should go check out, such as the letters of evaluation, personal essay, and extracurriculars. Anyways, as promised with this program, I want to be as transparent as possible, so I will be showing you the application I sent in as we go through each section together. You will see some things blacked out, but that is just to protect personal information of either family members or professors that I have had. Also, as we go through it, it might not be in the same order that you will have to enter information on the actual application, but what you will see is the version that schools will receive. All of the information is the same, it just might be in different order. Alright, starting here we have some very simple things you can expect to find on any application really. Just basic identifying information such as where you live, what your name is, how to contact you, things like that. They will also ask you things about your biographic info, like if you were in the military, were disadvantaged in any way, and what languages you are proficient at, like you can see at the bottom here. I hope you have a good memory because they will also be asking about your childhood and where you grew up. You will need to report your family's approximate income level and how many people are living in your household. You can see for yourself what all they are asking for, but they will also ask about the funding for your college. You will have to give a percentage on how much things like scholarship, family contributions, loans, and other things contributed towards paying for your college education. If you claim to be in a disadvantageous position, you will have to clarify what that means on the application. Parental information is also necessary, going all the way back to what their education level was and what jobs they have had or have now. But you can see for yourself on this page what all they will ask. Next, after asking about any siblings you might have, there will be a few more miscellaneous questions to answer. Then we get into a very time-consuming part of the application where you will have to manually put in every class you took during undergrad, what year it was, what grade you made, and how many hours it was. If you go look at my GPA video, I explain what the science GPA is and how you can specify a class as being a science class. Because there are so many pages of just my random classes that I took, I'm only going to show this one and one other page. I want to show this one to reinforce something I talked about in my GPA video. Look at the grades I made during my first semester, 2 B's and a C. Not only was this at a university I ended up transferring out of, but those certainly don't look like the grades of a pre-med student that's going to get accepted, right? Well, look at this next page. Even if you have a bad semester, you have every opportunity to make it up with future classes. And hey, you can also take summer classes or add a minor on top of everything you are doing just to get more classes to bump your GPA up. The important thing to do if you perform poorly during a semester is to show improvement, which you can kind of see on this next page. So they will ask you to fill out all the information with not only what college or colleges you went to, but your high school as well. But that's not what I want to focus on. At the bottom, you can see the trend of my GPAs over my years during undergrad. Now, my senior GPA is going to look a little inflated because I did a 5th year of undergrad. And since they don't have an option for 5th year, you just have to include any 5th year classes you took within your senior year. But nonetheless, look at the trend. I started off pretty bad. I mean, only a 3.26 my first year. I'll also let you know that my first semester was barely a 3.0, so even during my second semester, I had to grind to get that grade back up. But that's all to say never give up with your studies, even if one class hits you hard or you have a bad semester. After you put in all of your classes, the application will automatically generate the bottom part you see here. This next page will look familiar if you've already watched my video on how the MCAT is graded, but here it is once again. Go watch that video if you want to learn more about how the MCAT gets sent to your application services and how it is exactly graded, but all of your standardized tests will show up on this page here. Then we get to probably the most time-consuming part of the AMCAS application. As you may or may not have heard, part of the application is to describe specifically 15 experiences that were impactful to you as you progressed as a pre-med student. I'm not going to go through all 15 of my experiences because I think that is kind of a waste of time, but here are 3 different ones. You will be asked all of the things you can see here on this page. At the bottom of each experience, you will need to describe what it was, what you gained from it, and what it meant to you. The last thing you should know is that out of these 15, you will be asked to report one of them as the most meaningful experience in your opinion. Just to go over the different categories that you can select as an experience, here's what the application lists out as choices. Obviously, there are a lot, and there might even be some that you didn't consider before seeing them, but are now thinking about putting it. Make sure to diversify your experiences too. You don't want 12 of your 15 experiences to be the same kind of activity. One important thing to remember is that when you are writing about the activity itself at the bottom, you will have to limit it to 700 characters in length. This is not words, but characters. Spaces count as characters. This means you will have pretty limited room to describe what the activity was and what it meant to you, so be precise in your language. I'd say on average you'll have like 150 words worth of space. It might also be a good idea to have someone start proofreading these answers because although they are short, they hold a lot of weight in the application, so well-written descriptions will go a long way. And now we've reached the end of the application. You're probably wondering where in the world was my personal statement, and you are right, I didn't include that page for 2 reasons. One, it was split onto 2 different parts of the application, and it looked bad for presentation purposes. But the second and more important reason is that I'm dedicating an entire video to just the personal statement, where we will look at my essay and go through what makes an essay good and thinking about what to write about. Anyways, to finish off this video, the last 2 things on your application are the letters of recommendation and the schools that you select. There is also a video dedicated to the letters, but just so you know here, you won't be able to see them at all. Only the schools will. Even before it is sent to the application service, you won't have access to them, and that is to keep the authenticity safe. Then you have the part where you select which schools you want to send the application to. This is an all-in-one application, so each school you pick will receive this application. Please go watch my video on the costs of everything if you haven't already though. There is an extra cost for each additional school you select past a certain point, and the extra workload will just be crazy. So don't just randomly apply to like 40 schools. But I will have another video focusing on how to pick what schools to apply for. This video was just meant to show you what the AMCAS application looked like, what kind of information you will have to put in, and hopefully guide you through some areas of it you might have questions on. You can also absolutely use any information that I put in this video as a template as you are filling parts of it out.